Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. I hope you're all well. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're all having great starts to your day. We're here to talk Manchester United. We're here to talk Ollie. We're here to talk Poch. We knew that this news was coming. We knew this. We absolutely knew this. There was no way Maurizio Pochettino could be on television Monday Night Football without a link to Manchester United being made. The question is, do you think the link is real? That's what we want to speak to you about today. Do us a big favor before we go any further. Hit the like button. Stop what you're doing. Hit the like button right now. It's how you support the independent YouTube content creators. Myself, the likes of myself and AFTV, United, Stan, Rants, whoever your favorite is, doesn't matter. Make sure you're hitting like buttons for all the videos, supporting the independent YouTube content creators. We're here to talk Ollie. We know he's facing the sack. We know that Manchester United have had conversations with Maurizio Pochettino's representatives in recent weeks. Ollie did well over the 5 games to save his job up until the Arsenal game. I have a visitor. Oh, hello, come here. You say bye-bye. You going to school? Come here. You going to nursery? Yeah. No, we're not going to school. Give me a kiss. Goodbye. Say bye to everyone. Say bye. Bye. All right. You have a good day. I'll see you when you get home. Love you. There we go. Just a nursery. I said going to school. No. Okay, nursery. Attitude of my daughter already is a madness. So we know that those conversations have taken place. We know that Man United are looking at alternatives at this early stage already. We kind of know all of this. It just comes down to whether or not you think Poch is the right man. You think is now the right time to get rid of Ollie. There are some. So you've got Danny, devil in the details, does not think Ollie will be sacked until it's mathematically impossible to make it into the Champions League. You have Elite KJ, who believes it could happen at any moment. And I believe, I feel the same as Elite KJ. We know that Ed Woodward has been a big admirer and a big fan of Maurizio Pochettino for a while. If it hadn't been for the £40 million clause that we would have had to have, a compensation clause we would have had to have paid Maurizio, I believe that's who United would have gone after. When Jose Mourinho's tenure ended, but I think United looked at the situation. They had Ollie that came in and did well in the interim, and they didn't want to drop £40 million on compensation. It was as simple as that. There was Glazeonomics at play. That £40 million compensation will no longer exist. They can pick the manager up for a fraction of the price that they could have done in times gone by. And I think they're seriously looking at the option of bringing Maurizio Pochettino in. There lies then the big question: does that actually improve Man United in the long term? I think in the short term, we know United will play better football. They'll look better in the league. We'll have a more attractive style of football. I don't think that's something that anybody is going to try and deny. Maybe some of you calling in this morning will deny that. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter to me what happens in terms of the managerial, who's in the managerial position in the long term, because I think the Glazers, I think Woodward, I think the board are always at some point going to sabotage that, not because they go, well, want to destroy the football team, but being the best football team in the country, what is happening on the football pitch for me isn't of the most paramount importance to the owners. So there's always going to be, in my humble opinion, a problem that's going to arise in these areas. I don't think we can get ourselves away from that. It's just my thoughts now. That's been my thoughts for a long, long time. Would I prefer Poch as a manager to Ollie? Well, if we know that we're not trying to build the best team in the world, if we know that we're not trying to put the team at the forefront of everything, we're not trying, there's no cultural rebuild. It will literally be a new manager each time with their own philosophy, doing what they think is best. Then, of course, I'd prefer the best manager rather than going, let's go for the right person now to help rebuild, and then we grow from that point as a club, because I don't think we're trying to build anything like that over the long term. It's always going to be short-term fixes. That's how Man United operate. I can't change that on my own. There's things I would personally do to help inflict change on the club, but Man United fans are not interested. They're still going to buy the shirts. They're still going to renew their season tickets. They're still going to subscribe to the app. They're still going to buy sponsors' products. So we can't impact that. So then what you go is you go to the, you go to the next, you just find the happy medium along the way. And for me, it's, well, let's just pick the best manager then. Let's get the best manager possible that will give us the best opportunity at hand, at least winning some silverware along the way, with the Glazers being here. So I would endorse the Maurizio Pochettino move, whether we did it today, tomorrow, next week. He is a better manager. Do I have any feelings it's going to be a successful 4 or 5 year period? No. Do I think we could have a good couple of years, play better football, maybe sneak a trophy? Absolutely. Think that would be possible. But I want your views and opinions on this. Make sure you're hitting the like and share button. Please go into the link in our description below and sign up to our mail list. Newsletter should be out first thing tomorrow morning. We delayed it slightly as a few new people were signing up, and we're getting a few other things kind of in a row in relation to that. But sign up to MailChimp for us this morning. It's really important that you do that. All the link to sign up to our mailing list is inside the description below. So really excited about you all getting yourselves involved on that. Get that done right now. It's the first link at the top. Subscribe to the Football Terrace Clips account as well. Really important to myself and KJ that you do that. Champions League football is returning this evening. Really excited about Atalanta versus Liverpool. It's going to be, for me, it's going to be a very, very, very intriguing game. Indeed, it really, really is. I'm very excited about it, people. So make sure you're getting yourselves geared up and ready for that. Over 1,081 people have subscribed to the Football Terraces page in the last week. Over 3,000 people since we started this a few weeks ago will be getting that newsletter. Interestingly, though, we did send out an email yesterday and only 26% of you open them. So when you sign up to the newsletter, make sure you're going into your junk mail and checking, or others folder. That may be where the first email gets sent, and you need to make sure that it's accepted into your general folder. So make sure that's done. Kevin here of a super chat says, morning, Terry. Do you think the board didn't back Ollie because they want Poch? And also, Donny van der Beek is a Poch player. I think Ollie has had his chances now. I wouldn't. Do you know what? It's a good conspiracy. Let's not buy him who he wants. Let's save money and then wait for Poch to come in. Potentially. I don't think this board plans that far ahead. I think they're a little bit like a rich kid with a new toy. They'll get Poch, and there'll be a period where it's like, wow, look at this. Look at my new Ferrari. It has all these new features. It does all these great things. But in 18 months, that new Ferrari is boring to them. They want something else. They want new excitement, and they're not prepared. No decision made by Woodward or this board since Fergie retired has been for the long-term betterment of the football team on the pitch. And every decision that's made, every sponsorship deal that's signed, everything we do at the football club, from top to bottom, inside out, should be done with the end goal being this new sponsor, this new methodology, this new technique, this new diet, this new training system, this new coach. It's all to make the football team the best in the world. The football team, the football on the pitch. That should be our aim, to make it the best in the world. That isn't our main aim as a football club. Man United fans have become consumers. Most Man United fans do not love the football club intrinsically. They don't love it deeply. That they don't think about the medium to long-term aspirations of the football club. It's all about, I want to see this club win now, today. So the club make consumer-based. They treat you like a customer. That's how they treat you. Quick fixes, quick wins, just trying to make you more impressed. They're not trying to create something that's longer lasting, because the consumers, which is a big percentage of our fans, they care about instant gratification. Now, the successful businesses in the world that are at a world-class level, they give you instant gratification, but they built up to that. Man United, as a football club, are not prepared to build up to a state where we can deliver instant gratification through quality football, sustainable football. And even when we're not winning, we're still up near the top, and we know we're always there or thereabouts, as we did under Sir Alex Ferguson. What we want is quick fixes. So let's just splash a bit of cash here. Let's bring in this new manager. Let's see if this new experiment works. And they always bide themselves time, because we always fall out with managers and players, as opposed to looking at the club itself. It's just a vicious circle that we're all very much part of, in my opinion. But I want your views. I want your opinions on Poch. Skype lines are open, so feel free to give us a call. Search Football Terrace FC. Give the show a bell now. Let's see what some of you are saying here in the comments. LFC Rants, one of our members here, says Ollie will be sacked before January transfer window. so that they can give some funds to Poch to construct the team according to him and impose his style. I've got to turn something off in this room. 1 second, please. I had a radiator on because it was a bit chilly in here this morning, and I'm sitting here and I'm getting rather hot. Yeah, I mean, he could be gone before then. I said with Ollie before, I mean, I'm not upset that we beat Newcastle, Paris Saint-Germain, and Leipzig. I'm happy because people keep saying to me, would you prefer to keep Ollie, get rid of Poch? I've got preferences, but if I'm being honest with you, my true preference that comes above everything else comes above my love for Ollie, my love for Rashford, my love for Pogba, my love for Bruno, is Man United being successful. If somebody told me tomorrow, it's a guarantee, Terry, sell Bruno, sell Pogba, sell Rashford, get rid of Ollie, and you win the league, I'd say, yes, great, do it, go for it, because I care about the club winning more than anything else. You know, I see people celebrate net spend. I see people celebrate profitability. I see people celebrate sponsorship deals. Yeah, it's all good. But that isn't what motivates me. What I want, you could be better at my club in 99 out of 100 measurements. But if my club's winning the league title, my club's the best team out there in terms of football, I don't care about those other things. And I think we get too caught up with the consumer element of the game again. Oh, we've got the best sponsorship deal. We've got the best shirt deal. Our shirt looks better than yours. All that stuff for me is like, oh, great. How boring are you? Let's do a shirt reveal show and show everybody how good our new shirt is. Why? What sane-minded human being cares about that? Dinesh here, another member of the Football Terrace, says, morning, Terry. Morning to you, my friend. Hope you are well. Josh here with a super chat says, my biggest curiosity is what when managers start turning down Manchester United, knowing how toxic and incompetent the board is. Positive PR only misleads people for so long. The problem is with football managers, is anybody that puts himself into a position of being a leader, in my opinion, will tend to have an air of arrogance about them. And people with an air of arrogance, and you need that arrogance, that pig-headedness is almost your shield against the bombardment of criticism that you are going to receive being in that position, doing the job that you do. But because it's there, it also makes you think, well, no, I can be the one. I can be the one who gets the best out of Man United under the Glazers. I can disprove the myth. You always get this in relationships. You've all had friends do it, or you've done it yourself, where they've got with a girl or they've got with a guy, and everybody's like, no, don't get with her, or no, don't get with him. They're toxic. They're this, they're that. But your friend thinks, I can be the one to change them. I can do that. I can be the one to civilize them. I can be the one to control them, tame them, calm them down. Never really works. So, yeah, I do get where you're coming from with that, Josh. But for me, it never works out. Smash that like button, please, ladies and gentlemen. Skype lines are open. So it's Football Terrace FC. Give us a call now. My guy Baz1 here says this board will continue the managerial musical chairs, kind of like Chelsea does. The only difference is that they will never spend like Roman, so it will never work. And listen, Chelsea's model. Let's look at Chelsea's model while we're live on the air, right? Let's just look at Chelsea Football Club, because Chelsea's model has yielded success. There's no doubt about it. But I've done this before. We'll do this little experiment live on the air. Let's go and look at Chelsea's honors. Roman came in 2003. Okay, so let's look at 2003. I'm going to get my little notebook out here because I want to do this properly. I'm not having a go at Chelsea's model because it has yielded success. But he came in 2003. So, and I'm going to go up until when Man City got money, which was, no, actually, I'm going to go up until when the Premier League's new TV deal money came in, which was 2012. Okay, so let's go from 03 up until 2012, because that's when teams started getting an extra 150 to 200 million pound a year in domestic and international TV money. Okay, so we'll go through 2003 to 2012, and then from 2012 until now. So since the money's been a lot more equal, and since City have had money, since Leicester have come back and they've got big rich owners, since PSG arrived, etc. So let's just look at it here. So during that time, okay, between 03 and 2012, they won one, two, three league titles. Okay. They won 3 league titles. Since then, they have won 2 league titles. Okay. So you say, okay, that ain't too bad. So it's still 2 and 3. They won 1, 2, 3, 4 FA Cups. So they won 4 FA Cups in that time. They've only won 1 FA Cup since. In that time, they won the League Cup twice. Since then, they've won it once, as an example. We won't count the Community Shield as an example. They won the Champions League once. They haven't won it since, but they have won the Europa League twice. So you're going to throw that in there as being an option. But you're only in the Europa League because they didn't qualify for the Champions League, which means the performance levels, they weren't in the Europa League once before that. So the levels have dropped a bit. So the point I'm making here is you're talking about 3 Premier League titles, 4 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, and a Champions League before everybody else got big money. Since then, 2 Premier Leagues. And by the way, we're now going to, we're going into 19, 20, 21. Sorry, this could be, the 18-19 season, 19-20 season. That can't be right. I'm looking at the wrong thing here. So they last won the league in 2017. So the 2018 season, 19 season, 20 season, it's going on nearly 4 years now since they've won a league title. So you're talking about 7, 8, 9, 10 trophies in those first 9 years versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trophies since then. However, 2 of them are Europa Leagues. How many times in this last 8 years have Chelsea not finished inside the top 10 in comparison to that? So I think Chelsea's model for me, it doesn't take into the consideration the financial change in the football world from sort of 2012, 2013 onwards. And Chelsea's success has been less dominant since then as it was in the time before that. Between sort of 03 and 2012, they had so much more financial muscle than everybody else. Just spending worked. Now what they need to do is create more of a dynasty. Now what they need to do is create a bit more of a managerial plan, because I don't think just throwing money at the league anymore is going to be good enough to make you champions of England or give you regular success. There has to be a combination of the two, and I think Chelsea are looking to do that with Frank Lampard. That's my view anyway, and I think that Man United need to get them, like, being on the managerial conveyor belt. I just don't know if it's going to work in the Premier League in this era where everybody's wealthy. You're talking about teams being given over £200 million a year in TV money each. Teams don't need to sell players anymore. Like, I'm telling you now, there's no way Jack Grealish and James Maddison and Harry Maguire would have, and Chilwell would have had between 50 and 80 million pound price tags put on their names prior to this new TV deal money. The thing is that the selling clubs now, the Leicesters, the Villas, etc., they're in no financial need to sell. What would have happened with players like Maddison and Maguire, Chilwell, Vardy? All these players would have been picked up by the top 4, top 5, top 6 for good sums, but okay sums, and they'd all just be right now sitting in the squads of the top 6 teams. All the quality players would have been taken from these other sides, and it would have been a top-heavy approach from the top 4, like we see in other leagues, and you'd have less quality elsewhere. That's what would have happened, and then it's easier for these teams to remain and stay at the top. That's my view anyway. LFC Rant says, so let's be honest, Manchester United will be an attractive proposition for any manager, irrespective of how the board behaves. Billy T says, regardless of sacking Ollie, the United job is a poison chalice. Bring in Poch now, not much will change. Into the parasites have gone, Terry. I hear you on that. Timothy here, a Chelsea fan, says, even when we did outspend others, we need a spine to create the dynasty. Exactly. And if you look at that, there was still a core of Chelsea that remained the same as a football club. But as you say, I mean, Chelsea had them couple of years that had won the league, and then Man United's approach, which was 2 or 3 years of building, outdid them because we won 3 titles on the bounce. If you actually look at that sort of 03 to 2012 period, Man United were very successful as well. So, and that's because we had the plan and the money. And then towards the end of that, City started to come good. And it's just the way it is. And Chelsea's methodology was absolutely fine. But now football's changed and everybody's got money. Parker would have a good 6 months and they'd buy him. Sean Wright-Phillips have a good 6 months, they'd buy him. And it's how it was. Man United weren't too dissimilar, but Chelsea were just the kings. It was so annoying. So, oh, yeah, we're going to buy him. Yeah, we're going to buy him. The amount of players Man United just went and gazumped. Sorry, Chelsea went and gazumped Man United for. It's just not as doable now as it once was. I swear Chelsea finished 11th one season. I don't think Chelsea once finished outside the top 4 between 2004 and 2012. I'm pretty sure they didn't. If they did, I apologize for not having my knowledge on point this morning. Kai here says, man like Kai, how come no one's phoned the show this morning? Very rare that nobody will phone the Football Terrace on a morning show. Kai here says, oh, he's talking to Neil. I'll let you talk to Neil. Amir with the super chat says, do you think this season we will see a repeat of this season where all clubs in the Champions League and Europa League finals were English? I don't know. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Man United look awful in the Premier League, but we've looked amazing in the Champions League. Go figure. It's if you look at the clubs across the Premier League at the moment and look at their win percentage across all competitions, they're all between sort of 50 and 70%. Some of them have got a really high percentage in the league, low in cups in Europe. Others have got really high percentages in cups in Europe and a very low percentage in the Premier League. It's so hard to judge still at the moment. I mean, a lot of people are saying favourites are now Liverpool and Tottenham, and maybe they're going to be. I still think the next 2 or 3 months after this next international break, then we're really going to start to see what's going to happen. There's going to be many more twists and turns to come. Kai here says, you say that, but I say with all honesty, Terry, United needs a change. Oh, United, I'm not saying United don't need a change. I'm just simply stating that having a conveyor belt of managers in the way Man United operate in this climate where everybody else is as rich, there are lots of clubs that have the financial muscle to either be as potent as us in the market or resist our charms when we're trying to buy their players. I don't think having a conveyor belt of managers with no plan as a football club is going to yield the medium to long-term successes that I want. So I'm happy to take it in the short term, but in terms of long-term success, it isn't going to work. We're not going to build anything. Let me tell people this. When Man City eventually move on from Pep Guardiola, Man City is still going to be a force to be reckoned with. They're going to keep themselves up near the top because the club's got a plan. Liverpool are going to keep themselves up near the top because they've got a plan, because they're behaving in the right way. That's my view. Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, I'm not convinced yet. Kai says, yes, but if you have the experienced manager and then build on it, Ollie isn't a bad manager, but he's just not a great one either. No, I hear you on that. But, bro, we thought that bringing in LVG and Jose was the experience we needed and we'd grow from that. But each time we've gone in a new direction. We have no plan. It isn't about the manager. It's about the club not having a plan of action. We could bring Poch in and be brilliant for 3 or 4 years. At some point, that's going to go dry. And then who are we going to go for next? Let's go for Simeone. Yeah, but it's a different style, different approach, different philosophy. Don't matter. It's fashionable. That's the way they come across to me, these people. Hit that like and share button, people. For me, please sign up to the mailing list right now. Good few more of you have signed up during this live stream, which is absolutely amazing. Thank you. I'll do some more comments. Ollie never convinced me as this is from Aveen, who says, Ollie never convinced me as the Man United manager to begin with. He won a game at Paris Saint-Germain that nobody thought he would, and this board hired him based on that. It's like they were doing a fan service. He wasn't good enough. That's a really good point. I remember Neeks bringing that up about a year ago. And he said something along the lines of, I don't want my board doing things because fans are demanding it. Because we don't really know what we're talking about. At the granular level of the game, we don't have the knowledge, the experience. No one watching this show right now has the ability to run a football club. None of us. Me, you, none of us has the experience. So we can have an opinion. You want a club to have a plan of action that you know is going to work, and they're consulting the world's best in those departments to make you the better. Not just, you know what, the fans really want us to change the manager. Let's do it. The fans really want us to do X, Y, and Z. Let's just do it for them. Sometimes fans, consumers, supporters don't actually know what's best for the football club on each individual detail. We're very reactionary. We can't help it because we're emotionally invested. We've got Mac on the line here. Mac, what are you saying, bro?
What's happening, Tom?
Yeah, I'm good, my man. A lot of talk this morning about Poch to Manchester United. What's your opinions on it, bro?
You know what? Yeah, it's like I'm getting the feeling you're feeling the same. You know when you're just stuck in between a rock and a hard place because yeah, Koch is a great manager. He's a good manager. I'm gonna call him great, but yeah, he's a good manager. He's a good coach. But it's just one of those ones where having the people that we have still in the positions that they are in, I don't know if it's gonna work. I still don't know if it's gonna work. Things like, all right, Poch normally works with the director of football. Is that something they're going to be? They're going to want to relinquish that type of responsibility because at the end of the day, it's such a simple move that could have and should have been made from ages ago, and they've not done it. And
Yeah.
you know, they should know with it. I mean, part of running a business is recognizing your own strengths and weaknesses, what you can bring to the table and what you can't bring to the table. And if you know that you can't bring a certain thing to the table, you go and employ the best in class to then bring that to the table. And then what
Yeah.
they've done is they've spent so long trying and trying and trying and trying, and we hear things about them being they're basically like they're basically the jokers of this whole of the whole like transfer industry. You know what I'm trying to say? Like people look
Mate,
at them like
yeah.
you can just rip their
And you're
business.
right. And this is where I say to fans, be mindful what you wish for. Poch for me will coach the team better than Ollie. I don't even want to have that debate with anybody because
Yeah, no, no.
because we know he's a better coach. However, he's never won a trophy, so that's an area that will almost instantly be pulled upon and scrutinized if we don't start winning straight away. Equally, I don't trust the board in the medium to long term to give him what he wants. I think Potts could sit in a meeting room right now with Woodward and say, I want a director of football. I want to have all these controls. I want to bring in all my coaches. I want to do all these changes to the club. And Woodward and Co will say, yeah, go for it, because they've allowed every single manager that's come in to make dramatic changes. I mean, they even let David Moyes undo things that Fergie had in place because they, whatever. So we know this will happen. What we've also seen happen with every manager is 12 months, 18 months, 2 years in, whichever the time period will be, it's like the emperor's new clothes. They get bored of what they've got, and it's like, oh, let's throw the baby out with the bathwater and start all over again. I just don't trust them to give someone like Poch the long term control that he needs. And so I feel like this. If today we announced Ollie was going, I'd be sad for Ollie because he's a club legend. I love him. If we announced Poch the day after, I'd be very excited about what Poch can bring. But at the back of my mind, what I will not allow myself to do is to say, oh, I think we've been fixed and everything's been resolved. I'm still going to have in the back of my mind, we have been here every 2 years since 2013. Like since Moyes was appointed, how my life has changed, what the things that have gone on in my life, and yet my club hasn't improved is a madness. Like what I've done with my life, the achievements I've got. Everyone think about what you've done in your life, what you've built up, what you've grown. My club stood still this whole time. A club with Man United's potency, power, privilege, money, branding has stayed still for 7 years, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's a madness. We've got Kai on the line with us now. Kai's a Chelsea fan. What do you want to say, brother? Long time no speak.
Yeah, man. How are you? How you been?
Yeah, I'm good, my man.
Good morning, first of all, everybody in the chat. Man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just thinking about like I've had this thought for quite a while now. Yeah. All three of us, right? Like United, Chelsea, and Arsenal. We have make-a-wish managers, right? We're just managers that we have some emotional bond to, but at the end of the day, they're not proven winners. And when I say proven, I mean they don't have like either they haven't won a title or they won any trophy of real significance, or they had that record before signing for us. They weren't. I have the same feeling with Lampard. Yeah, I love Lampard. I want him to do well, but at some games you can see like the way they manage those games. For example, the Arsenal game for United, right? You could have won that game if you had a different approach, right? And it's the same thing with Chelsea. It's a few games as well, and it's the same thing with Arsenal as well. It's just we have those managers who are not experienced, and we need to give them time. Can we, the fans, give them time? Probably, but can our boards do the same? It seems that United have, at least the board has reached a point where they're like, look, this all is not working. Could be they know something that we don't. Could be that the basically the locker room is walking all over him. It could be that point. It could be that just they're seeing something that we're not.
Do you know what I find? Do you know what I find really interesting about all of it is this kind of notion of every time. What I've seen in the last 12 months. Forget the beginning. This beginning of this season has not been good for Man United in the league. There's no denying that. But I know it's going to. If Ollie stays for the whole season, this is what's going to happen. Man United will play a big team and we'll win, and it'll be all banter on Jose because Ollie, when we beat him back in December, it was all banter on Jose. You've been beaten by the guy that replaced you. You were outwitted. You were outsmarted. 2 weeks later, Jose Mourinho will outwit Pep Guardiola, which he literally did do. And it's, he got outwitted by him. 2 weeks after that, Pep Guardiola outwits Frank Lampard. Oh, my God, see, Lampard's trash. He's in the mud. He's been outwitted. A few weeks after that, Lampard outwits Ollie and beats Man United. And you got this kind of conveyor belt that goes around all the lines. Everything's also become very, very reactionary as well. Man United had 4 good games on the bounce, 3 of them very good wins. We didn't get it right against Arsenal, and it's suddenly again, it's already let's throw our toys out the pram. And we'll do the same with Poch. So if Poch comes in, and there'll be a grace period where where fans will act normally, and that's one area I love about a new manager coming in. New manager comes in. Let's say we win our first 2 games, and then we have an average performance in our 3rd or 4th game, and we draw. They'll be like, it's okay. He's new. It's okay. When in fact, the longer you're at a club, the more leniency your fans should have with you, generally speaking, when you have an off day, because all teams have off days. The best managers in the world over the last 3 or 4 years only have win percentages of about 70%, which means there are 3 in every 10 games where they don't win. And even out of the 7 that they do win, I guarantee you there's 2 or 3 abject performances. But we've almost created this notion now through the way we assess football, because we're consumers of it as opposed to lovers of it, it has to be nigh on perfect every single time we watch it. I was saying last night to Adam, you see it in how we consume box sets. People wanting rewrites of Game of Thrones because it didn't end how they wanted it to. The arrogance of it. Hang on a minute. I didn't like the last 4 bars of Jay-Z's new album. What's it got to do with you? Like, it's his art. You listen to it, like you're not. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, everybody's become a critic. Everybody's become an expert. And I know I do that on here. We assess things, but it's like I want to make sure I phrase this in the right way. I'm not going to tell Ollie or Poch, like, play football how I want, or I'm not going to back you. That's how it's become. It's do it how I want, or I'm not going to support you. I look at it the other way, where I'm going, you know what? You got it wrong today. X, Y, and Z might have worked better than A, B, and C that you did. But it's not like I'm not going to back you unless you play the football the way I want, talking press conference the way I want. And it's a madness. And I just let me just finish up by saying, for me, we're in this kind of interesting space at the moment where we're never going to have a fan base that's happy, because everybody wants it done their way, as opposed to saying, right, this is how it's going to be. Let's all get behind it and support it. And I just think, for me, Poch could be 6 months in and then go on a bad run, because, by the way, Poch had lots of bad runs at his time at Spurs. And one thing I saw last night, which will get picked up on by the negative people towards Poch when he comes in, is his win percentage at Tottenham is lower than Ollie's win percentage at Man United. So that tells you there's still going to be runs of games and periods where he goes through bad patches, because it's happened to him with his brilliant Spurs team.
One thing they
but they won't be able to handle it. It'll be, hang on a minute, I thought he was going to come in. This is how it'll be. I thought he was going to come in here and save us and make us brilliant. We've only won 1 of our last 3 games. That's a disgrace. Rare. And there it goes. And it'll be the same pattern again.
One thing they highlight just today as well is his they talked about his record, like getting to finals and not getting over the line. And they had FA Cup, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe 3 times FA Cup.
Yep.
The final or semi-final.
And you know what you'll see, Matt?
And then they had the League Cup there. obviously the Champions League.
And do you know what will happen almost
Yeah.
straight away? What will happen maybe after his first 10 games? And it will be an instant thing because there'll be a group of Man United fans from day one that will be Poch out. Every single rival fan will want your manager in the mud. That's normal because we all want our rivals' managers in the mud. After the grace period of 10 games, what you will then start to see happen is every bit much that. Every clutch game. So every top six clash, every sort of quarterfinal, semi-final, final that he finds himself in and around, or those games that are like, wow, United, say we're sitting third and we can, and all the teams around us lost, and we can close in on the title challenges and we can give ourselves a buffer into top four. Those clutch games, any single one of those matches where Poch doesn't get the victory, or we don't play well, they'll bring up the past and say, see, he's a bottle job manager. He's a bottle job manager. He's a bottle job manager. The narrative won't ever leave.
And I just say quickly as well, I think people need to realise why Poch got sacked from Tottenham. One of the major things that happened was a breakdown between him and Daniel Levy, because he wanted to improve things on the training ground, and he wanted more investment into players and stuff like that. So with the board that we have and the people that's actually running things, if we don't give him everything that he needs to make this football club great again, and we've done it previously by not giving managers everything that they need to make this football club great again, there's just going to be problems. And that's why I just say that it doesn't matter who you get. Yes, we might have some short-term success, but at the end of the day, I'll feel much better, much more comfortable if we were to get someone in with more of a structure around them.
Mate, Mac, I do agree with you. And I do agree with you. Poch will make Man United. There's a super chat here from Franklin, actually, as I'm about to say, that says Poch improves average players. He's a better coach. Thank you for the super chat, Franklin. He's a better coach. He will make Man United play, in my opinion, better football. I'm not even debating that element. The 2 points I would stand out and say, though, you're still going to have a percentage of fans that are going to behave towards Poch as they behave towards Ollie, because they're consumers, and Poch will say, and there'll be a new group of offended fans who don't like Poch because he doesn't do things how they want it to be done, which I just think the arrogance of people to think that they're that important. That, for me, it's like, I do care how things are done, but actually there's more than one way to skin a cat. As long as we're winning a certain amount of games, and I'm going to set my stall out very early, as long as we're winning 65% or more of our football matches, as a general rule, I'm gonna be fairly happy with that, because otherwise you just get stuck in the weeds on, but I want us to pass the ball this way. I want him to speak like this in press conferences. I want him to do this when we win. I want him to do that when we lose. I don't want him to do this. It's like, hang on a minute, how big are your demands? Like, there comes a point where just let a man do his job. We've got Indiana on the line now. Indiana, what you saying, bro?
Morning. I wanted to pick up on something you said, Kai, actually.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You put Frank, Arteta and Ollie in the same category, and I have to disagree. And the reason why I would disagree is because although Chelsea have no problem replacing a manager, the one thing they always do is back their manager. And then when it comes to a point where they're not going to back the manager, they sack him and bring in another one. With Man United, they will string it out. So they back the manager in the first window. They don't back him in the second window. That's what normally happens. And then results go bad. Before you know it, fans are turning on the manager. So they bring in another manager as a scapegoat. The difference with Man United is what will happen is, I think they probably will bring in Poch. I said the other night on the terrace, I think Poch has got a short-term deal with Sky because he's waiting on a job in England. I think that's why he's at Sky.
Oh yeah, he's got no reason to be living in the UK unless he's looking for a job here. With all due respect, I love my country. I love my country, but that brother can live anywhere in the world that he wants. Like we're in the middle of we're about to go into lockdown. We're in the middle of a global pandemic in this country. Why would you? And it's about to get cold. Why would you want to be here? Tell you why he's here. He is waiting for that job. And I'm telling you now, as sure as eggs are eggs, he has been told by an intermediary, Ollie is on the edge. Ollie is on the brink. Just stay local. Do you get what I mean? Stay around.
Yeah,
you're gonna get a call soon. Do you know what I mean?
I know because I've watched it. I've had to live it as a Man United fan. I know what will happen. What will happen? This won't be any different to Mourinho. Poch comes in, won't be any different to Mourinho. And there's nothing wrong with a manager wanting the players, having the players that he wants, the things he wants to implement, the style of play. And he'll find out. Poch will find out in the first 8-9 months that he's not going to get what he needs. What happens then? Because the same thing happened at Spurs.
Yeah, Indiana, can I just cut you for 1 second? The only thing that I compared them in, all three of them had an emotional attachment to the club. I didn't compare them at the level of managers of who's better, who's worse. I just said all of them are
no, I'm just saying it's a different job. I think it's I think it's a very different job. And the other thing I would say about it is, if you have a young player coming through, they're new to top flight football, yes?
Yep.
But we all give them time. We all give a young player time to develop. But why wouldn't we give a manager time?
Because
I've never understood that.
But that's because you've got a brain, Indiana. That's because you're thinking logically, and people don't think logically when it comes to their emotions and when it comes to their demands for. This is one of the biggest things that we've created in society. It's this demand for instant gratification. But we should only you can only get instant gratification from things that you're a consumer of. You're an educated man, Kai. You can't get your education with instant gratification. It takes time, work, and energy. People that build businesses, even people that are given large lump sums of money to start businesses, even from parents or VCs, you can't build these things up just by the click of hands. People that build something from nothing, people that achieve something from nothing, people that have to put a body of work in to get something at the end of it, they understand the process of building things up. They know you can't get it straight away, but consumers think you can get things straight away. The new album gets released. You haven't got to wait. When I was a kid, I don't know, Michael Jackson dropped a new album on the Monday. I wasn't able to get myself down to Woolworths until the Saturday morning. Down to Woolworths in Baker's Arms in Leighton. That's where I had to go on a Saturday morning. So I had to wait all week, excited all week. I had to walk down there myself. I had to queue up. I had to buy it. I then had to walk all the way home before I could listen to it, right? Yeah. That's how, and by the way, it was even harder 10, 20 years before that to buy these things, as an example. Now, it's like you can pre-order it a month in advance and you go to sleep at, say, 11 o'clock on the Sunday night. You wake up Monday morning, it's already downloaded on your phone. You can listen to it on your way to school. That's what consumers have become. I always give this example, and it's one that always stands out in my mind. When I first joined Barclays Bank, it would take, on average, 5 working days for you to receive a new card. If you lost your card at the weekend, you went into the branch first thing Monday morning, lost my card. It would be the following Monday that card would be at your house. Every time we told people it was a week, there was just kickoff. Essentially, we went about things behind the scenes, and we managed to get down to 2 days. It'd be at your home. For the first 6 months, everyone was like, "Wow, 2 days, that's amazing, thank you." What happened after about 6 months? People started complaining that 2 days was too long, right? And then what happened is we went from doing it in 2 days to having these machines in branches where we could print you and make you a brand new card there instantly. You'd wait about half an hour for it, right? And need ID. The reaction was amazing until about 6 to 9 months down the line, where people complained that waiting half an hour was too long to wait for their new card. This is the problem. Sometimes as well, if Poch actually comes in and kills it instantly, like Ollie did, that can cause you a bigger problem in the long term. Because if Ollie comes in, if Poch comes in and is amazing in his first 15, 20 games, you've set the standard. You've moved the expectation up to here. That the instant gratification was so sweet and potent. It's like, oh, I'm addicted to it. Consumers get addicted very, very quickly. Then when it drops a little bit to a more normal level, it's like, hang on, I'm not happy with this now. I'm a consumer. I don't care about the level you were at a moment ago was unprecedented, is unsustainable. That, Ollie opening 15 games as Man United manager, to maintain that level of wins would have meant he would have had a higher win percentage than any other manager in the history of British football by over 20%. As if he could sustain that. Now, it dropped too far below that afterwards. Absolutely granted. But there would have still been a kickoff with it falling down. Ollie could win the next 5 games and be brilliant, and then draw a game 0-0 and play poorly, and the same outcry would happen. And when Poch comes in, it will be no different. It may be a different group of people. Saeed, for instance, from United Central, he's going to have a lot more leeway with Poch than he will with Ollie. The same as many people will, because he likes Poch. He supports Poch. So because he likes how Poch does things, he has a lot more sympathy with him as an example.
You just want a sexy name. That's what it is.
Well, it isn't even that. It's about personal preference. It is his personal preference to have Maurizio Pochettino. So he's going to be more relaxed with his expectations. He's going to be less damning with his condemnation and with his criticism. Equally, there are going to be some people that don't like Poch, so they are going to jump on him like a bitch in heat as soon as something goes wrong, because they don't love Man United. They're consumers of Man United, and they want Man United to give them a buzz. They use Man United as, I want Man United to give me my weekly buzz. You know, to beat the small teams and make me feel superior, to beat the rivals so I can banter people, and hopefully to win me trophies so I can gloat and say I'm the best. That's why people support Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal now. It's to gloat. They use us as a tool for arrogance and as a tool to gloat. As of course, I'm just going to support this club. Now, sometimes I wish that my club, Man United, would have something go wrong and we get put it down into the conference, because then you'd see who really loves the club. I'm telling you now, a lot of these mans wouldn't be making Man United content on YouTube if we were playing Broxbourne FC at the weekend. You know, they're consumers of the club. They don't love the football club. Now, I don't actually want it to happen in real terms. But there we go. Gentlemen, I appreciate you all coming on, having your say this morning. Thank you all very, very much indeed. Appreciate it. Let's do some more of your live comments here. Goes. Okay, I don't understand what you're talking about there. Where's the systems and patterns of play? Please tell us, Terry. Pedro, we've gone through patterns of play before. Most of you don't even know what patterns of play means. They exist. There's no doubt the consistency isn't quite there over Ollie's tenure, but in the last 30 plus games, it has. The win percentage is very, very high. You can't win over 70% of your games in a calendar year. You know, if Ollie, we're almost getting towards a calendar year where Ollie's win percentage is 70%. You can't do that without having high win percentages. Do I think we could bring in a better manager in terms of style of football? Absolutely. But again, as I say, I'm not going to go down the hyperbolic, polarized, overreaction analysis. You can say it if you want, but to say there's no system, there's no style, there's no tactics, there's no structure, you're liars. You're absolute liars. You don't beat Paris Saint-Germain with no system. You don't beat Chelsea the volumes of times we had without a system. You don't beat City 3 times in a season without a system. You can't do that. Should we seek to find someone better to get us to the next level? Of course we should. But if anybody thinks that just because we bring in a new manager, we're going to go to a new level and start winning league titles again, you're deluding yourselves. The overall achievement of the club. I get to a point now where I don't think Man United fans actually care about winning league titles. What they care more about is being proven right. If I don't think Ollie's good enough, so Ollie being sacked is all I care about, so I can say, see, told you, as opposed to, is it really going to fix the club in the long term? Well, I don't care about that. I care about getting my retweets, bruv. It's how I feel, mate. Consumers. Make sure you're smashing that like button, please, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do some more of your comments here. This is from AJ, who says, sacking Ollie may make things worse since the chemistry between him and the players is pretty good. But the performance last match was very poor. Of course. And this is another thing. Every time we lose a game, it's, the players don't respect. I heard Troy Deeney say yesterday, the players don't respect him. Based on what? Do you know the irony in that, right? A lot of the Ollie out mob are stands of Paul Pogba and defend Paul Pogba in all these faces of adversary. If somebody says, and I don't agree with this, by the way, that Pogba is a virus, they say things like, show me where people are saying bad things about Paul Pogba in the dressing room. Show me, Ollie always praises Paul Pogba's attitude. The players love Paul Pogba. How has he got an attitude problem? How do people dislike him in the dressing room? You're liars, you're liars, you're liars. People say no one respects Ollie. The same people go, yeah, that's true. Based on what? Based on what people have said? Based on the laughter, the attitude, the application of certain players? Like, it doesn't make sense. They literally change their tune to suit their agenda. There is no proof that the players don't respect Ollie. Bruno Fernandes actually come out and publicly spoke about this and said that it's bullshit, but let's just ignore that, shall we? Prime's on the line, but now, Prime, what you saying, bro?
This whole talk of Poch, people have to remember, yes, he wasn't, he didn't have a huge transfer budget and stuff to work off like Chelsea or City have, or even United, but he was given, Levy did help him as much as he could. For example, the fact that, you know, the renewal of contracts from Kane and Son and Ali and Ericsson not selling his best players, allowing him to build and embed a philosophy and a style of play. I don't think he's going to get that at United. I think he's going to be given that control to bring this huge plan and vision that, you know, these United fans think that he's going to come in and create.
Look, for me, I think when did he join Tottenham? Does anybody know? Do you know anyone know what year?
I'll look it up.
And I'm asking for a reason because I'm going to search it here. I've got such an itchy head today. I want to say it was 2004. It was 2014 he joined.
Yeah.
So 2014. So the reason I'm looking for that for a reason. So there was 43. So in his time at Tottenham, he had spent, and I'm just working it out very, very quickly, is 6, 11, 12. So 12 is there. 4 is 5 is 11. 11 and 7 is 18, 19, 20. So we put the 20 there. So he spent about £400 million in the time that he was at the club. That's still fairly significant. Plus, as you say, contract renewals, salary levels being increased. They also built the new stadium, which stopped a fair amount of spending for a year or so. But he spent around £400 million in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 summers that he was there, right? It probably would have gone nearer to the 500 million mark had they not had that one summer where they didn't buy because of the stadium. So yes, other clubs in the top 6 have spent more than him in that time. However, there is this weird sort of myth that's been created that he didn't get any money spent on him. Plus, it isn't about the overall money you spend. It's about how good the scouting network is, how good the players are you get and buy. Because Dele Alli is a prime example. He cost them about £4 million. But Dele Alli is definitely better, in my opinion. That, you know, he's worth more than a £4 million signing, if that makes sense. You know, you bring that in. Ben Davis cost him £11 million. What a great piece of business he was. You know, as an example, Son Min-Hew, Son cost £27 million, but he's an 80-90 million pound player. Toby Alderweireld cost him £14 million. He was one of the best centre backs in the league for 3 or 4 years. So it's not just about how much you spend; it's about the smartness of the business. Victor Wanyama was an excellent signing at £12 million. You know, you start going through it. Davinson Sanchez, 37 million. You start going through the players they bought in. £25 million for Lucas Moura. Like, they signed some really, really good players. They bought a £54 million Ndombele for him. Like, they did spend money on Poch. This kind of, we see this certain managers always get this kind of, but we haven't had much money spent on them. They have. It's as simple as that. I find it very, very strange. Now, I'm not trying to downplay what Poch did. It was excellent. I think Poch will make Man United a better football team, will play better football. But anyone who thinks it's fixing us in the long term, that's where I'm frustrated at. That's where it's like, you're all mad thinking that will happen. We've added Z to the line with myself and Prime. Z, what you saying, bro?
I'm all right, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad, my brother. What do you want to say?
I'm basically just picking up on the a few things. I ain't been around, but first of all, shocking loss on the weekend.
Yeah.
And we knew it. I think we knew Yoli out brigade was going to come out. And the thing is, one thing I want to question now, obviously, in relation to Poch, is we'll get a new manager. We'll get that feel-good factor. And this is one thing I've always warned Arsenal fans about as well, is that the Arsenal fans think everything is, great under Arteta, but it's only so long before, he starts losing, and then afterwards...
Oops.
Players. You look at someone like Pogba, and I'm someone who's been openly critical about, openly criticizing him, to be honest. And you look at him, for example, everyone always says, his ability to do this, his ability to do that. And we ain't seen it. He's worked under 2 different managers. People said, he was playing in the wrong position on the weekend. Was that position not similar to where he played midweek? And there's just so many players that the bag is too heavy for them. And we need a clean out.
No, I hear that. And do you know what will happen? This is the one thing I'm not excited about having under a new manager. I want us to play well, so I won't be unhappy with it, but it'll be the hype. So let's just say first 2 games under Poch, Pogba looks the best player in the world. It'll be, see, it was Ollie holding him back. And it's like, yeah, you said that when he did well under Ollie when Jose left as an example. For me, I'm not going to react to anything Poch does in the short term in terms of, oh, we're back, because I've done that before. I've allowed myself to be suckered in, and I've seen the club dismantle it further on down the line, you know. And this is what I'm saying to fans. It's like, forget whether it's Poch, Allegri, Simeone, whether we're going to get a DeLorean and go back to 1984 and bring back a young Sir Alex Ferguson. It doesn't really matter. This club is never, in my opinion, going to relinquish the power to enable us to become the powerful club that we used to be. They're happy for us to be also runs, and that's the problem. And I don't know what it's going to take. And maybe Poch coming in will be that, hopefully, is the straw that breaks the camel's back, where the majority of Man United fans see what the major problem here is. And by the way, let me just say this as well before we end this stream. I hope I'm wrong. I have no desire to be right if me being right is negative about the club. So if I think that we won't improve in the long term with any manager under the Glazers, of course I don't want that to be true. When I predict Man United to not win a game, it doesn't mean it's not that I want them to lose. So I predicted we'd lose to Paris Saint-Germain in the knockout stages a few years back. And I remember when we won, all these comments were coming through saying, Terry, but you said we were going to lose. Terry, you said we were going to lose. Why are you celebrating? You said we were going to lose. Because I thought we would, but I'm over the moon that we didn't. Me thinking we might lose, or me thinking that we're not going to improve in the long term under any manager when the Glazers are here, that's not what I want. It's what I think is going to happen. And there's a fundamental difference. And the consumerism of football and social media has changed the way people interact with football. People now, in my opinion, a large percentage, want to be right, even if them being right is detrimental to the football club, because they want to be seen as a knowledgeable football fan. They want to be seen as, oh, this guy gets it right, you know. I see so many fans who gloat when they get things right about their club, but it's negative. They're like, see, I told you this would happen. You should listen to me more. It's like, bruv, why are you happy? It's mad. It's because it's become, they don't love the football club. They're consumers of it, and they're trying to predict how it is. It's weird. I find the whole thing exceedingly strange. Exceedingly strange.
It's weird. It is a weird situation. And, you know, it's like I said, the season isn't over. The season isn't over. It's far from over. The league position looks ugly, but it's far from over. We see people, and this is the funny thing is, like, I've been watching the season, keeping a close eye on the season. All the people that everyone was, you know, praising, Bielsa got their ass kicked yesterday 4-1, Everton dropping points. You know, it's one of those ones. Liverpool aren't looking great. The two teams that look to pick up and look to be doing all right, Chelsea and Tottenham, to be honest. And we always said this about Chelsea in terms of if you get the right structure within that team and the right balance, they're going to be scary. The only thing that my issue was, I still think Lampard manage this squad for an entire season. But, you know, that's something we've got to see. The season isn't over. You know, the season isn't over. And I remember back in the days under Fergie, and people say, oh, but it's not Fergie days. You know, we used to start off poorly. We were known for starting off poorly. And then when it came to, like, you know, the Christmas period, January period, we kicked off from there. And certain times we'd be hanging around.
Man United need a run. Man United need a run again. You know, we need to win 2 or 3 on the bounce and whatnot. We know we need that as a football club. But again, I'm not sort of panicking at this point, no matter what's going on, because Leicester looked electric last night. It was only 2 games ago where they were getting, you know, they were outplayed by Aston Villa, and then they were battered by West Ham. You look at Aston Villa as an example; they looked on fire. You know, beat Fulham 3-0, smashed Liverpool 7-2, beat Leicester 1-0, and they've looked absolutely poor in their last couple of games. Leeds United, like, I know we should be better than these teams, by the way, but it's so up and down. Tottenham at the minute are looking really solid and really informed. They'll have a dip moment. Liverpool are still the best team in the league, and they will level out and they will improve their performances at some point. And they've been winning when they've been poor as well, which is a good thing for them because they will turn it around. Arsenal, do you know what? It's like doing very, very well, but that's because they're not opening up. It's because they've become
I personally don't think Arsenal's doing well. Let's be honest.
I mean, they're doing well in terms of points because they're on 12 points. They're only sort of 4 points.
12 points, but 3 losses.
No, and I get that, and that's my whole point. I think for me right now, I want to wait until about 15 games in before I really start to assess who's doing brilliantly and who isn't. And that is partly because I want to wait to see if Man United can turn things around. But I'm just, when I watch teams perform, I'm not convinced by too many yet. Like Chelsea have looked really good. They haven't lost in their last 5 games. They look really good against Burnley.
Yeah,
they look,
but
one sec, mate. But they look really poor against Man United. And it's like, and they didn't lose. You know, they look really poor against Southampton, as an example. It's so up and down at the minute. But boys, I have got to go. I appreciate you all coming on, having your say. Thank you very much to our 2 new members that have signed up to our Academy membership this morning. We really appreciate that. Everyone who's tuned in, please hit that like and share button. Poch to Man United could be happening very, very soon, according to the media today. Until next time, take care of yourselves, everybody. Goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Make sure you sign up to the mail list and the newsletter in the description below. Bye-bye.